Anyways, we had to take a little break on that because the video stopped recording for some reason. But that was a long way to go around to say that men have bragged about their libido and dissed women in raps for over 40 years, yet the only time Ben Shapiro gets his panties in a wad is when women rappers do the same, but in reverse. Just because one particular artist or rap about their wet-ass pussy doesn't mean that all women have the same vulgar attitude towards sex, or, you know what, even if they do, they might keep it in the bedroom or not show it to everybody. You know, the old lady in the streets, freak in the streets cliche.
Yeah.
Or to take it even further, even if they wanted to be all out loud with their sexuality, that's okay. They can do that. They're human beings. They have free will, right? You can choose whether you want to, A, listen to their song, B, purchase their albums, C, go out with a woman like that who is open and public about her sexuality, or not. You as a man have choice and agency as well and can pick women based on whatever criteria you want. But to judge someone for that, to do the slut-shaming thing, or what's been referred to in the past as the Madonna horror complex, you know, Madonna, not as in the singer, but where she got her name from, the Virgin Mary, where basically women were put into either two categories. You're either a whore who enjoyed sex and was out loud about it, or you were a virgin who, you know, was chaste or whatever.
Yeah, but you were a whore who was out loud about it and was paid for it because it was an occupation to take care of your family.
Right.
So you were either the home domicile, you know, I mean, like, is just the quiet person in the corner, or you were the person that nobody else wanted because everybody had, you know? It's kind of like the Shilly Lock situation, you know?
That's interesting. It's interesting bringing money into it because, of course, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B are making money off of, you know, being vulgar and being out there and stuff like that. So one could draw that comparison as well. You know, they're getting paid for being out there with their sexuality.
They're doing what everybody wants to see. That's the situation.
Right.
Because it prior to this song, prior to Cardi B's fame, she was a stripper who's admitted to countless things that people think are horribly wrong. Because, you know, if a man admitted to it, it'd be wrong. I mean, it's wrong in all. It's the level of prosecution that comes afterwards. I mean, with Ben Shapiro, he's a bit of a little bitch. I'm being completely honest. The dude attacks women because what are the women going to do? Just attack back verbally. If Ben Shapiro said that to a man rapping about degrading women, he'd be marked like 6ix9ine. Like anywhere you went, you know, green light. So it's picking your battles, and he chooses to address people that he feels can relate to what he's saying, but not because they feel the same way he does, but because there's some underlying feeling that they have that he is resonating. Yeah. Why should I be offended that somebody's getting paid millions of dollars to show me some shit that I complain that I can't see for free on the internet?
It's trying to pigeonhole people. It's trying to and this is something that you see happening all the time. And again, I'm not trying to get political here, but you see it on both sides of the political spectrum. Is everybody's getting shoehorned into an us versus them type of mentality?
Yeah.
You know, A or B. Those are your choices. When in reality, you know, a lot of people are a mixture of different things. People aren't binary. They're not computers.
No.
You know, it's not ones and zeros. There's a variety of different people out there. Not all women are like that type of thing, you know, to deliberately misquote the red pill. You know, there's all kinds of variety out there. You know, you talk about people that just immediately, you know, chastise and come at you and stuff like that.
I mean, anybody.
I literally just had that happen a couple of days ago on the Twitterverse. I happened to share something that a friend of mine, call out to Dolly, had posted on her Facebook feed that said that, have you ever heard of the term TERF? TERF?
No.
It's trans exclusional radical feminist. Okay. So it's what people are using to refer to J.K. Rowling nowadays, because she's a feminist. She's very outspoken about, you know, being a feminist and you know, going for women's issues and stuff like that. But she's also made a lot of comments recently basically saying trans women are not women, period. And so she's gotten a lot of controversy for those statements, this and that and the other. So she's in that, she's in that category, right, of a TERF. So my friend was just saying something funny, I thought, which is, she's like, I don't think it should be TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminist. I think it should be TERD, TERD, trans exclusionary radical divider. And that's the point is to be divisive. Just wait. So, I'm just saying. I posted the whole point of the story is I thought it was cool. So I said, hey, we should make this trending, and she says, go ahead and do it. So I said, okay, cool. So I posted on Twitter. A friend of mine said, and everything that I just said, right, quoted her like copy and pasted what she wrote. A friend of mine said this, and somebody immediately was on there and said, great, another man telling feminists how to think or something like that. And I'm like, actually, it was a woman who has a non-binary daughter, who's doing that. So you can maybe chill out on attacking me and coming at me. She's like, well, it's still coming from you. And I'm like, but and she joined the Twitter fight too, my friend, because she was on there too. So
you should have literally, at the moment, whoever that was said anything negative, you let it get to you by continuing to follow it. Honestly, man, that person was probably having a really shitty day or are just sad with themselves and just felt better after making you a little bit less happy.
It really didn't affect me too much. It was just mostly like, what the fuck? Why would you?
But you just said it
immediately comes at someone. You know what I mean? Like you don't know shit about their situation or anything like that. See, no, I'm backing up your point.
No, but
I'm backing up your point.
I've had these thoughts of just how so many people in this world, and I mean, excuse me if I offend anyone, and it's the strangest thing, because I feel like a lot of the people that need explanations as to why things are the way they are, or as to why, or described in more depth as to why they feel the way they do, makes no sense to me, man. I mean, I hate to bring up myself, but it's like I grew up extremely poor, to the point where for 3 years, man,
in Compton,
not even in Compton, dude, just all around LA for first 18 years of my life, scattered, ate eggs every day for 3 years because that's all we could afford to get. All right, like I've been called every racial name for Hispanics and black by family members, by coworkers, by anybody that's supposed to be an influential person. I've been batoned in the face by a police officer on a bike just because he felt like hitting somebody while I was walking to school. So I go to school with a broken nose, tell a police officer at school, he laughs, tell a teacher, they said, well, you must have done something. This is 7 a.m. in the morning. So
automatic reaction.
But but there is no, you need to, there's
the automatic reaction of the person who has.
But I got you, man. But I never react.
Has the what? No, I'm just saying. No, it's their automatic reaction because they have that. Oh shoot, what is it called? It's white.
To be honest, man, I don't even think about it that hard. No, it's not. It's everybody feels that. If anything becomes too real in their lives, they become part of that victimization. And that's the problem with everybody.
Right.
People need to stop turning things into selfish situations. If my older brother told me there are 7 women for every 1 man. Now imagine, there are gay men, there are dead men. There are men that just don't ever want to talk to women, and there are men that are married. So that means for every other man in the world, there's another 7 women that I could possibly approach and talk to. Now, law of averages is if for every shot you don't take, you miss.
In this case, being just a generic...
In general, anybody, man. Anybody.
Any single person. Right?
Anybody that feels that they need something different.
Right.
If you don't approach that difference...
The general you, though.
Yeah. If you don't approach that difference, man, what's different? Like, it's that comfort that you need to get out of because comfort kills.
So, on our second part that never got recorded correctly, we talked about something that I found while researching this topic. of misogyny in rap. There's actually really good Wikipedia article, and I'll make sure to link it down below because it's got a lot of really cool sources and really good information on it. But one of the interesting things I stumbled upon was something called double consciousness. And it was actually introduced by W.E.B. Du Bois in an autobiographical book in 1897. And he was what's the word for it? And he was, anti-slavery guy in the late 1800s, early 1900s, stuff like that. So
revolutionary,
he was a revolutionary type of dude. So basically, double consciousness is referring to the internal conflict experienced by subordinated or colonized groups in an oppressive society. So he said that people tend to always look at themselves through the eyes of, that he looked at himself through the eyes of a racist white society, and he measured himself by the means of a nation that looked back at him in contempt. Now, this can be applied to any subjugated race, really, or people, group of people, not even race, because that's the whole topic is misogyny, right?
Yeah.
So, in a way, do you think that that's kind of present here too? That's still relevant today? The idea of double consciousness, for yourself or for anybody?
Yes
really?
And no. I mean, it always depends on the context and where the situation lies and where, always the beginning of everything. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you have double context, yes. I mean, for myself, firsthand, if you're in a repressed community, you will continuously be told there is a level of success that you are only going to accomplish because of where you live.
Right.
And you are never
because of whatever reason, where you live, who you are.
No, because it all ties to where you live. You're classed as the community when you're in a lower society. Like it's weird. So coming from Los Angeles, mm-hmm. you see the levels that are, you have poverty, middle class, mm-hmm. upper middle class, rich. You see that. But then coming to Florida, I don't see poor. I see middle class, and then I see rich. Mm-hmm. Because here, it's everything intermingles. You don't have people placed in areas. You'll have a street that people say, don't go down. Right. But in LA, it's like between these four corners, don't go there. Like, I would never go back to Los Angeles other than to visit my family. I could not live there again. Because depending on where you are and who you're around, I mean, that's anywhere, but it seems like LA kind of confines them to certain areas. Mm-hmm. And when you're forcefully grown up there because you have no other choice, you start emulating them. And mm-hmm. you don't see it until you actually leave. Then when you leave, you wonder how you were okay with that for so long. Like,
did you spot a lot of misogyny growing up there?
Man, listen.
I mean, did you even have a radar for it? Were you able to spot it, or
yes,
or did you spot it later in life?
Yes, because misogyny, the misogyny that you noticed offhand, mm-hmm. always came from some of the most despicable people.
Right.